Okay, Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in amma ba'd. Okay, so let's just go through the basics of Adobe Premiere and how do you import and just get basic editing skills down, and then maybe we can work from there. So the first thing that you do is, of course, is you open up Adobe Premiere. Um, so you allow that time to run. Mine is really fast because I have an SD hard drive. So now, of course, you have the welcome screen. Okay, you can create a new project. So you can create it there, and then you can name your project whatever you want. So let's just say tutorial. And then you can choose a location. If you have a specific location, then you click browse, and usually you want to put it on your desktop. So let's say I didn't make a file or a folder or anything. You want to make a folder because it's going to have a lot of files in there. So you can click new folder, and then you'll have a new folder here, right? And we can say tutorial video. Click off of it, find it, click it, and then click select folder. And then everything else is good after that, okay? So now you have this, and I think that it already automatically creates for you a file. So now we have a tutorial video. I spelled video wrong, video. But they already save for you a save file, and they automatically save it for you. But of course, you know, every once in a while you should go up and save. So that can be found here, or you can press Control S as most programs. So I think you have you had CS2. So yeah, I'm editing with CS5. This is the old version. This is how they set it up, and I think CS2 is the same way. But of course, this is black instead. You'll probably have light gray. First and foremost, first thing that you want to do is import your files, right? And that'll be found here in project tutorial, or project, and then it will be the name of your file. And it has, I don't know if CS2 has it, but this CC version, you can press here and you can import media, and then you can go to the area. But I don't like to do it that way. I'm really lazy. So what I usually do is I minimize the screen, and then I go to the area that I want. Actually, if I had a whole file like this is the file you gave me of a Dawa session. You can either do it two ways. You can either take the whole file itself and just drag it into that area, right, that you want, or you can take individual files in there and then drag them in. And you can do many, you can do one at a time, or you can do many at a time. But I'm going to take it all and put it in. It's probably going to take a little while. Actually, it's not. So then it comes in like this, and then you just double click, and then you have your files. Now I'm going to do it the other way as well, where you just drag all the files, because then this, you should then take it and dock it up at the top, and it might get a little bit confusing. But let's just say, for example, if I took them all, it would like this individually and put them in, then it'll be automatically on the main project area. See, this project area, if you bring in the file, it's going to have a file here as well, and then you have to double click it, and it'll be a pop-up window, and then you have to dock it into the area. So maybe it'll be easier for you just to drag all the files and then put it in here so that it's on the main project area. So now you have your files, right? I don't know if CS2 you can scroll through the video like this, but let's bring in one. Oh, excuse me. Now you have to create something. It's called a sequence, and it can be found up here. This is the first step that you do. You create a sequence. So usually I right click, and then it says new sequence from clip. I don't think CS2 has that, so you would have to create your own sequence, and I don't even think it has it now. I'm so used to using CC that I forget if if how to make a sequence the old way. So anyways, you'll have to figure that part out. So you create a new sequence, and you create sequence from clip, right? And now you have this blue area. This will be your sequence. This is basically this file right here. So now you can edit, and you can bring all these other files in as well. And then you can also edit the sequence. Now I think CS2, it's create new sequence here, and then what happens is you get something like this, right? Where you get, you're told, well, what is the size of the sequence that you want? See, this one, it already made the video HD. It made it 1920 by 1080. And this is what your Canon's going to be. So you're going to have to type these numbers in, and it's 2.5 frames per second. But you're going to want, it doesn't really matter what's the frame rate, but usually you want it 24 or 23. So you can change that if you want. But right now it doesn't really matter, because the frame rate per second matters when you export it. So everything else, basically what you're going to do when you create your own sequence, you're going to want to dial in these numbers. This is HD. Just a note, Facebook doesn't allow HD. It's 720 by, I forget the other number. Vertically it's 720 by something. I think it's 1250 or something like that. You'll have to check it, but if you want to upload to Facebook, you can't have HD like this. So all right, so that's that. So then you create your sequence. Now you have the editing area, right? This area that you want to edit. The top here are the videos. You see V1, V2, V3. These are your videos, and these are your audios. Whenever you bring in a video, it's automatically going to link your video and your audio together. So if you go through, you can hear a little bit of what he's saying. The next step that you're going to want to learn is how to, usually what you're going to do is have an external audio, right? And you're going to want to have your own audio in, so you're going to want to edit or bring in your own audio. You didn't bring your own audio in, so in this file, I guess there's no audio file, but let's just say you did. Let's say you did have audio here, or I can probably bring in audio. Or do I have any audio? Let's see, audio. I have this creepy background stuff. I could use that maybe. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'll show you how to do it. Anyways, all right. So so you have your audio. The audio is here. You have A1, A2, A3. These are your audios, right? If I want to remove this audio from this video and then like bring another video and have that one over it, what you have to do is you right click on it and then you unlink. See, they're enabled right now, but you unlink the area, and now this audio and the video are not connected together. I can move the audio as I want, and I can delete it if I want, and then the video will have no audio at all, right? And then I can bring in another video and use that audio instead. Unlink that, and then maybe like delete the video, and then I have, then I have a different audio with the video. So that's not, it looks different. And if you had audio, and if you put in another audio, right, and you wanted then to link it together, like if you brought in a new audio that's better, and then you wanted to link it together, you just highlight the two, then you right click, and then you put link, right? And don't worry, the original file itself isn't going to be edited. So let's say I made a mistake, and I'm like, oh man, this is messed up. All you have to do is just delete it, right? And then I can bring in the file again, and it'll be okay. So let's see, which one was I using? I think I was using 77. You can press Control Z to actually know. I was using 180. So bring in 180 again, and it's okay. right? So that's the first thing. That's your audio, right? That's your basics on audio. Let's see. The next thing you would do is, let's get this a little bit bigger. Next thing you would need to learn is, let's say, well, if you're editing long video like this, you're gonna want to learn how to make the timeline be bigger or smaller. And basically what you do is you just click on this area, right? And you can make it bigger or smaller. And you can see the time frame up here. So you have 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, etc. Okay, so multiple videos, editing videos. Okay, so let's bring in another file as well. Well, let's do this in order. So you have 175. I'm going to bring them all in right now just to show you. 174, 175. I'm gonna distance them a little bit. It's a lot of video. 176. Let's just work with 3 for now, because that's a lot of video and a lot of time. That's 25 minutes, man. Wow. Okay, so let's just say these 2 videos now. You have the intro, you talking, and then you have this video. Now you can click on the video and you can move it up and it'll automatically link up to the other video, right? If you just drag it over to the other video, it's automatically going to connect like this, right? And now you have a connection. It breaks off into the next. Now let's say I wanted to cut out the brother. I don't want it. I want it to go here and then stop. Now I have 2 options I can do. I can go here and click on it and then just drag and it'll cut out the video, right? Or you have different tools here. The main tools, the only 2 tools I use is the razor tool and the selection tool. This stuff, I really, in all truth, I don't even know what it is. So the razor tool, though, I use it a lot just for time, because sometimes I don't want to just sit there and drag, and sometimes there's video that I want in the middle of something and I want to cut a beginning and end to it. So I don't know if you heard me because of the other audio, but sometimes there's video that you want to just cut, and so you can use a razor tool and then just click on the area that you want to cut, and it'll cut it, and then you can select the area and then press delete. And that doesn't delete the video. I'm gonna press mute here for the audio so that it doesn't mess up my speech as well. But you have also here mute if you want to mute the audio, and it won't play the audio. So what I was saying is if you cut the video, it's not going to destroy the video. Now I can come back and I can move it back and drag it back with just the selection tool. So I can cut, and I can do this multiple times and press delete. And there's a shortcut key for the razor tool. The shortcut key is C, and for the selection tool it's V. So you can just go back and forth with it. So see, I can cut this as many times as I want, select it, delete, and then drag it back, and there's no problem later. Okay, so now bear in mind the reason why the audio and the video are cutting together is because they're linked. And the way that you know something is linked is, of course, if you just select on it, then if you're going to select on the video, they're going to select both the video and audio. But if you right click, it's going to say unlink, right? And then if you click on it and then you click, it's going to say link. The area that's unlinked is going to have link in that area. So you want the videos linked, but sometimes you don't want it linked. Maybe you want to cut over to another video and you want the audio to still be with another video. So I mean, there's a number of reasons, but you can cut that video and cut out that, right? Unlink this video, and then have, let's see, how could I do this? Yeah, what I could do is actually, let's go back. I'll just show you an example, something that's a cool way to edit. So I want these linked. Are they linked? Yeah, they're linked. I'm going to cut it in a little bit. So then I can bring it all the way here, right? Then I'm going to unlink it, just showing you a method of what you can do. And then I can take just the video and then I can move that so that you're going to be talking in the background still before we cut to that audio. And I can show you maybe. I'm going to bring down the audio though. Let's see, the main audio, A1. Well, this is a good time to tell you about the audio mixer, right? Audio mixer here. Is it unmuted? Yeah. I always get back here. So audio mixer is very, very important because it helps you basically edit the audio, how loud the audio is. Usually you want it to get to the yellow area without hitting red. And if it hits red, then you have to lower down the audio. Now A1, A2, A3, you can have 3 audio tracks for your first sequence. If you want more audio tracks, you can add them. So for example, if I wanted this audio to be here and I wanted it to overlap, instead I can do that. I can have like a nasheed in the background and have it here. You import it here into the stage and then you bring it down here. So your audio, to bring it down, you just go up and down like that. You click on it. A1, it has the names of the different audio tracks. A1, A2, A3, A1, A2, A3. Okay. And yeah, that's about that. That's about it there. Basics there. Let's go back and let's get 76. Very large. And I got 76 already. And let's get 75. Yeah, 75. Why aren't you dragging? And I don't know, you can take the video and just drag it in, and you can drag it into any area you want. If you look here, you see how you can just drag it into here, here, or here, and it'll drag in. And so what else? What else? You have audio now. You learned how to edit those 3 audio tracks. You learned how to edit video, how to overlap. Let's look at overlapping videos. So why isn't the audio going down? Yeah, okay. Well, if you're going to try to overlap videos and they start getting wonky with you like this, like they're not working with you, sometimes the audio won't go up and down. You have to do them individually, even though they're linked. If you brought the video into the timeline and you didn't put it in the second slot, because if you brought in like 76, if I wanted it to overlap, it'll automatically go to V2 and then A2 if I bring it into V2 and A2 like that, so that now it can overlap. So, but that's not going to be, really good audio wise. But if I brought it in to V1 and then I was like, I want to overlap it now, the audio is going to stay in the same place if I go and I bring it to V1 and V2, or yeah. And so I'm going to have to individually move it like that. But if it's linked, it'll be okay. If it's not linked, then you're going to have problems because, but I mean, it's not that difficult to fix. If for example, if I unlinked it and then I had the video and I forgot that I unlinked it and I moved it here, I'm like, oh, I made a mistake. It'll lock right back into place, so I can bring it back and it'll usually just lock and catch it. That's just one of the perks of the program. So, and then I can click both of them and link them again and right click and link them and everything's okay. So that's the basics. Next thing you'll want to learn is video effects and transitions. Those are the 2 things that you're going to want to learn. Transitions is really important. Transitions is, as it's stated, transition. There are three transitions you're going to want to learn. And you go to video transitions here. You have effects, video transitions, then you go to dissolve. Now the three or four, basically the four that I use is additive dissolve and cross dissolve. Those are basically the same things, basically, and that is you dissolve, as it states in English, you're dissolving into the next video. So if you take this and you drag it over to the top of the video, the second video, then what's going to happen is, I'm going to mute the audio because I don't want that. What's going to happen is it's going to, if I press play and we look at this, it's going to slowly go into the next one. I don't know if you can tell here. Let me get a video that's more clear, different than just Bilal sitting there. So we have this video, right? And I want to additive dissolve into the other one. Additive dissolve, though, bear in mind, additive dissolve needs to be, you need to have a video on top of another video, right? So, and cross dissolve as well, because it's dissolving into another video. So you're gonna have to have that video on another another track or row. So if you look at it now, additive dissolve is going to slowly dissolve into the next video. If I press play now, it'll be in real time and slowly dissolves into the next video. Now when you add these, if you really look at here, you have you take it and you drag it in. So, and this is now you can see there's something added here, and it says additive dissolve. Now if you go to that area, you can make the additive dissolve longer or shorter if you want it to. So now it's going to be a really, if I extended it, it's going to be a real long additive dissolve, right? And then you can click on it and delete it. So if you click off of it, it's going to look like that. If you click on it, it's going to be highlighted. And then you just delete it, and now there's no additive dissolve. There's just a basic cut. Cross dissolve is basically the same thing. Basically, it's the same thing. I mean, there's not really a difference if you look at it. They're both the same. Yeah, that's how you use that. I use this for, you know, there's times that I need it. Usually it's, and what you want to do though is you want to make sure that however long this cross dissolve is, it's not going to extend beyond the video that you're dissolving from, because what's going to happen is it's going to dip to black. You see that? If I went back more and I had a cross dissolve, and this cross dissolve went beyond this video length, the length I wanted to dissolve from, it's going to dip to black, because the Adobe Premiere, their basic default background color is black. So you can dip to black. If you had two videos together and I like this, and I exported it out like this and then black, and then it went to the second video, it would go on to YouTube as black here. It would export as black. And that's good, actually. I use this a lot. If you remember the video I made on Palestine, I use the dip to black a lot because it has a very dramatic effect. So it depends. You can actually use this to your advantage. So yeah, so you have additive dissolve and cross dissolve. And then the next two that are good is dip to black and dip to white. Dip to black is good for like beginnings of videos. If you wanted to start the beginning of a video and you wanted to dip to black, from black and then to the video. I use this always for the beginning of my videos or the endings of my videos. So you take it and you drag it onto the front of the video like this, and it will highlight, and then you let go. And now if you press play, you see it comes in black. Now white is the same thing. White is basically you're coming from white to that instead. So you have white. And white is usually good for when you're having videos where you're cutting and somebody makes a mistake and you're cutting and it's like an interview. If you look at a lot of talk shows and stuff and they have like a recap of a talk show and they're making mistakes, and you want to cut out that mistake, but you would do a quick dip to white. So if let's just show you an example of how it would work. So let's have him talking. He's setting up, I guess. Let's see. Is he starting? Okay. Yeah. So, and you see how I use this a lot. I use the cut tool, the razor tool a lot, because I don't want to take the selection tool and then go all the way over here. You know, it's just time saver. So let's say Bilal's talking, and let me use a better video, the ones that you use the light in. So Bilal's talking, and he makes a mistake. Okay, so we cut it, and let's say he made a mistake here, and I cut it, then select that area I want out, delete, and then I put it in here. Let's just look at it really close. Now if you look at Bilal, it cuts. Let's get a good player. If you can catch the cut. It's really slow. Let's see. So he's talking, then I want to get an area where he's really prominent, different. Let's see where he's animated. Yeah, let's get that area where he's more animated. Where'd his hands go up? I remember he just had his hands up. Alright, yeah, let's get here. Because now he's forward, right? So I'm gonna just show you how it looks. And remember, I have my audio muted, so because I just don't want it to mess up my narration. So Bilal Phillips now is talking, and you want to move over to another area where he's forward, right? That doesn't look right, right? He's here and he's talking, and maybe he made a mistake and he got caught up on his words, and then you had another area that you wanted him to talk. You had two options. You can cross dissolve, but cross dissolve in this time doesn't really look good. What you do is usually most professionals, they'll dip to white. Now, the problem is usually what happens is they'll do a double dip like this. That's okay. If you have bring in if you have two videos linked together like this, and you bring in like cross dissolve or anything else, usually you can make it dissolve from the left, the middle to the right. And usually if it's like far away like this, it's going to be automatically to the middle. So if I just did dip to white, it's just going to be in the middle. And that's not bad. I mean, it depends on what you want. Usually I like, but let's see how it looks. So he going boom, now he's different, you see? Usually what I like to do though is, let me delete it, give a little bit of space, put on dip to white on this one, on the video, the second video. That's what I like to do. And then you put it in together and it will go to the next. It'll be like, but you usually make it really quick. Like this is really long. Like if it's boom, you go to another one. Depends though. Sometimes it does look good though if you have both ways. If you have it together and just make make it really small, and boom, it goes to the next one. Yeah, that actually looks better. That's good for when you're editing videos and you're trying to cut to another area. But you can do a cross dissolve, but seriously, it won't look good. And also you have to bear in mind that the audio, you're gonna have to tweak the audio, and it'll be a headache. You'll have to figure that out. You would have to unlink this if you wanted to do it. If I wanted to like cross dissolve, since this video is already edited and it has stuff in front of it, I can actually cross dissolve, but it's I'm not going to get into it because it's really a complicated discussion. So okay, now you have dip to black, dip to white, and you know, you can put dip to black at the end of a video, and I always end my videos with dip to black. And usually I make it really a lot longer, the dip to black, than it is now. So Usually it's like I extend it and make it like that long. So let's say this is the end of the video, 13 minutes, now he's talking, bye-bye, right? Now the video's done. Okay, so that's there. How much time have I been talking? Wow, 30 minutes. What else is there? Okay, so now with all that, let's say now that you know all the basics, let's just try to make, the next thing that you're going to need is you're going to need to learn the color editing, video effects. There's only one thing you need to learn for video color adjustments. So you go here to effects, let's close the transitions, then you go to video effects, right? Then you go to color correction and you go to three-way color corrector, and you bring that and you drag it onto your video. Okay, now I'm in audio track right now, but you need effect controls. Now this is beforehand when there was no video three-way controller. If you go to effect controls, you'll see it here. These are all the basic video things that you can learn about, but they're not really important right now. You don't need to know this stuff. You have motion, opacity, time remapping, volume is somewhat important, but you can edit volume here if you want. But the difference between volume here is for this clip, and then you have volume for the track. If you edit the volume of the track, then all the other videos that you have on that track are also going to be low or edited. So if you have one video that's really high and then one video that's really low in audio, you wouldn't want to edit it here. You wouldn't be able to. What you do is you click on your video, you go to effects control, then you go to volume, and then you have level, right? And then you just you go to the beginning of the video, right? You can do it in the middle, but the beginning of the video, and you can slightly bring it down. Now you can go from they'll allow you to go to like 230 something, but usually to make it silent, it's minus 100. You can go minus, and you can go up 6 to make it higher. Any higher that you need it, then you need to do this in Adobe Audition. But I mean, you can do little slight tweaks like -4, -5. The most I would go to is -10, and that would be that must mean that your audio is really high and it needs help. But yeah, that'll be your audio. So let's say this one is really loud, and then this one is really quiet. If I click on this video and I go to the volume, you see it's 0, and then I can make this one up high, and it'll have, if you're only going to edit it once, okay, then you don't need to worry about this here. You saw automatically that a dot came on. The whole video is going to be that number. But what you want to do is, if you're going to edit the volume, and I make this mistake all the time, click on this area. Let's say let's go back. Let's say I edited this volume, right? And I made it -6.1. Then I go here and I'm like, no, I changed my mind, and I change the area, right? And I go, no, I want it 6. What's going to happen? It's automatically going to between these two dots. It's the program is automatically going to change the volume and make it go from up to down. What is this for? This is for if you wanted to like. And you can just click on, if you made this mistake, you can click on those dots and delete them, and then it'll just go back to the default 0. But this thing is good for what? If you wanted the audio to fade out, what you'll do is you'll go to an area that you wanted the audio to start to fade, then you'll click on this dot and it'll place a dot here, and then you go to the end of the video, and then you can make the audio go down to 100 or 287, and then the audio will slowly fade out. Okay, and that's just a little trick to the trade, I guess, that you can do. If you want to hear it, I'll let you hear it. So if you go here,
Celebrating why we don't celebrate the New Year's. So we use both the negative and the positive. The negative, we clarify that it is negative.
actually, because I'm really far away, the audio is really, um, and you can move these also. Look, so you saw how I made a mistake now because this is like a minute worth of fade out. I wanted a couple seconds of a fade out, right? Let me press audio so you don't hear. So I want the fade out to start maybe like 12, 45, all the way here. And you can, just like here, you can make the video, you can zoom in by just simply clicking on the right or the left and then just dragging it out. So what did I want to do? What was I planning on doing? Okay, so I want to fade out from here. What am I doing here? Okay, let's starting to hiccup on me. What are you doing? 1 second. Let's see. Where am I at here? Yeah, come on. Why are you tripping? Okay. These are always hiccups that happen. Click off, click on. There you go. If you had a mistake like that, you can just click off the video and click on it, and it'll bring you back to the default view. Then I want to zoom in. I want this area I want it to be very short fallout. So.
Global Daqwa Week. Why? Because on one hand, the day is not.
You heard it? So it slowly went out. That's a good thing to learn. That's a basics. One of the basics you got to learn as well, of volume control. So I taught you that before. I teach you now color editing, and this will be the last thing we go over. So color editing, let's go back and just show you where it is. Effects, video effects, and it's going to be found in color correction, and you go down to 3-way color corrector. You just take that, and don't mind all these. Just take the main, just click on the main box here on the left, and then drag it over to the video and let go. Okay, so now you have this, and what the heck is this thing here? You see how it was before? There was nothing there. You had video effects and nothing, and then right when you bring in the 3-way, now you have a 3-way color corrector. Okay, so where do you start? What do you learn about these things? Well, here you have shadows, mild tones, and highlights. You can change the color of every individual one. This is a couple steps you have to do to do the color correction. You have to click on the white, right? Then you go into the area, and now you have a dropper tool. Then you go to the area that is the most white, the area that you want to be the most white. So if we look at his thobe, that's probably the lightest area, or maybe possibly this is the lightest area there. If I click on that, now I have the white, right? Then you want the black area. What is going to be the darkest area? Actually, this guy's jacket looks like the darkest area in the video, or maybe this bag here. So I'm going to click on that. Then you want the mild tone area. What is, and it shows you the type of gray already there, right? So if I click off of it, let's see if I go back. Press Control Z. Control Z. If you look at that color, that's kind of the color you want to get. You want a mild tone in between color, and you find it there. Possibly, and it depends. You got to play with this. I think maybe his mild tone would be like this. Okay, so now you have that. You then can, like Photoshop, you can bring up the levels, the input levels on Photoshop. You can bring up the brightness and contrast, right? So you have levels, input levels, your brightness and contrast. And I usually work on that one. I don't work on the second one. Um, and I toy with it. I mess with it until I think that it looks good. And then on top of that, if you click, these here, you don't really have to play with them, but if you wanted to get really fancy and stuff, you could. If you wanted to add color, but bear in mind that you're just going to overcomplicate stuff if you're going to do it that way. Basically, what you're just doing is you're messing with this here. That's your main focus. But let's just say, I would say that's probably your best video. Let's say if I wanted to add an overlay of color, I would click master. I can edit it right now. I can edit every individual one of these, but usually I do it all together. So I click on master, and now I can add a color, a slight color to all the videos, to all the three different tones, shadows, mild tones, and highlights. You see them all working together. So I can add like a little bit of a blue to the video if I wanted to, and probably bring down just the, make it a little bit wider, right? A little bit darker. And if you want to see the before and after, you can, here on the FX where you go three-way color, you can click this to turn it off and on. So look at the difference. There's a major difference between the two. And that just helps you, because sometimes, like when I work on videos, sometimes I'm like, ugh, this doesn't look right. It doesn't look good. I wonder if the original video looks better, you know? So I'll just go up and I'll toggle off and on this, and I'm like, wow, no, it's really a lot better. So yeah. If you wanted to, if you were on a time crunch and you didn't want to mess with all this here, and there is an option for audio levels. I wouldn't use it. I wouldn't recommend using it all the time, but I'll just show you. So let's turn this off, close that. And you can actually put colors, you can put many different effects on each other. So look, I can put this color again, and I can have I can have two three-way color correctors on top of each other. But bear in mind that this, when you render it out, it's going to be a lot of work for the computer. So, but anyways, what is my point here? I wanted to tell you about the auto levels. So if you didn't want to mess with it and you were in a time crunch and you were too tired and you had to get something out really quick, you can use this instead, and it's found here at the bottom. And you have the dropper tools like up here. I think you can do these, but I usually go here like this. I'll use these after, but what I do is if I'm in a time crunch, you click on that, and then you go to the white area, and you click on it. You go to the black area, click on it, then you go to the gray area, click on it, and it does it automatically. It doesn't look great, but it does the levels for you automatically. And then you can, and it's edited here, so then you can come through and then further tweak it as you like. But I mean, really quickly you've kind of made it look a little bit better, but to me it's not that good. I mean, you have to have an eye for video. Let's go back and let's see what the audio black level and audio contrast does. I'll just erase this. If you don't like something and you want to just start all over, you just click on that and you can press erase, and then you can take it again and drag it in. So let's try the audio, the auto, just the button. Auto black, auto contrast, auto white. Huh, didn't work? Maybe if I click. I never even use it, so this is just a first time for me. Let's go to the black, let's get that, there you go. So auto black level, auto contrast, auto white. Nah, it doesn't look good. You wouldn't want to use that. Your main, I mean, the main thing you'd want to do is just click on the areas, a gray area like what you saw in the picture. Just remember, you want a gray like the picture. That's a lighter gray. that's like a lightish gray, something right in the middle of the levels. You know, that's what you want to try to get. And it takes some time to get an eye, and sometimes you have to play with it. Like I'll make mistakes. Sometimes I'll click here, and I'm like, well, that's really maybe. I mean, actually, it looks kind of good now, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you make a mistake on the color, and you're like, okay, let me click this one. No, that doesn't look right. The middle one I always have a problem with. Sometimes I have to, you know, do a number of tweaks to try to catch it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be gray. Sometimes you have a video that has different. You don't have any gray in the whole video. So, but even that, you know, I don't like it. I liked the original. Actually, I liked that one. Kind of goes out. Let's see. And then you just, I mean, if you know Photoshop, then you know the levels. Everybody knows the levels editor. So it just feels like home when you're working with it. So you have that before and after. Let's see the other one, before and after. That's my method. This was the other method. Not really a difference. You can see, like, you get an eye for how the color should be. So yeah, that's your three-way color corrector. Very, very important. One of the main things. Another thing you can use, and I would say use this very wisely, and that's the blur and sharpen. You have a sharpen tool, and you can sharpen the video if you want, but this will make your rendering be like a year long. It'll double your rendering time. But if you took this in and you placed that on there, you can make the video become sharper. And you shouldn't go, I usually go 50, and I don't go above that. So if you make it sharper, and see, that doesn't even look right now. It's from 50 down, so you can make it be like 17, and the video is going to become a little bit sharper. If you look at it, it's a little bit sharper, but it crunches up your rendering time. I mean, a really, really long time. So, okay, so you learned that. That's probably the only thing you really need to learn, is that, and how to bring videos together. And let's see. So you learned that. Okay, let's say that you had video that has the same light. I can take this three-way color corrector and just press Control C, or I can right click and copy, and then I can go here to this video and I can just paste, and it'll have it. But of course, these were two different. If you looked at the video, the lighting was different. So if you look at the lighting at this video and then the lighting in this video, what's going on? They're different. Where is this? Why is this still showing? Oh, okay, because I still have it. So if you look at the lighting, it's a little bit different. That's the problem. So it wouldn't really work, but it'll give you a starting point, I guess. So you can copy and paste, so you don't have to do it again. Let's just do it, show you again. So let's turn that on. Hold on. Turn you on. Come on. Oh, I turned it off. Okay, so we have that. And actually, that doesn't really look good. I would edit it even more. But then you have that. Whoops. And then you just further come in and edit the colors to try to tweak it so it looks nice. He got a funny face. Let me get him a better face. Okay, so, and it depends on your taste, right? I mean, it's better than the original. It gives it just a little bit more depth, what you want. And I mean, it depends on your style, you know. Some people, they like the video look right off the bat, but usually you want the blacks and the whites to be brought up. So anyways, all right, so you have two videos. I taught you that. This I would need to edit more. I just don't like the way it looks. It's having too much of a blown out effect. But a lot of it, like what you said before, a lot of this stuff, it has to do with lighting. So you have to give lighting to the video. I mean, before you're shooting it, because you only have so much room to make the video look better. And if you didn't put in your ISO and your aperture right, then the video isn't going to look good as well. So let's just say I have this 15-minute video and I have the edit and I have, you know, everything that I want, and it's good. So what you do is File and you just have the whole thing. If you had the videos together, and let's just say I put in another one, let's make it longer. So I had 20 minutes of video, and now I want to export it. Now, of course, you don't leave like extra little pieces of video at the end, like, you know, if you had a video way over here at the end and then you exported it, Adobe Premiere is going to make the video all this long, and it's going to make it long until the last video. So you get rid of all the extra videos at the end, and you end exactly where you want the video to end, right? And then you go to File, Export, Media, and now you have the exporting options. Number one, first and foremost, you're going to want it H.264, right? Then you have presence here. And I don't think CS2 has YouTube. That might be a problem. But so what you might have is HD, I think. And what you're going to want is 1080 23 point, it's basically 24. You'll find this a lot with videos. They'll have either 23.9 or 24, but you'll want HD 1080p 24 or 23.96. Okay. Then you have output name. You click on that and you choose the name and where you want it outputted. So Bilal, save, and I want it on the desktop. It already goes to the desktop. And everything else here, you have frame rate. It's just double checking everything. You want NTSC, Blu-ray. This is VBR 1 pass. Usually you want it 2 passes. If you want the video to look really, really good, you do it 2 passes. If you're on a time crunch, then you can go 1 pass, but it's going to be, it's not going to look as good, but it's going to take shorter time to render out. Now here's the important part. If you look at the video now, I have 5 MB. Here you have target bitrate. The top one is what you want to do. You're going target bitrate. You can bring this down, and here, if you look here, estimated file size, it'll tell you how big the file is going to be when you output it. So you can bring this file down, both of these down, but the target bitrate is you're telling the computer what's your target, what do you want it to be. So usually you want it from 500 to 100 megabytes. I mean, it's 500 to a gigabyte. You don't really want to go that far. I mean, if you have an hour video, yeah, if it's a half an hour, it should be like one gigabyte. If it's going to be an hour, it can be 2 gigabytes if need be. If it's going to be like 10 minutes, then you want, 1 gigabyte is a half an hour, so you can do the math. If it's going to be 10 minutes of video, that's going to be a third of a gigabyte. So you're talking maybe like 250 megabytes that you're going to upload. As you like, though. I mean, you can make it 100 megabytes. It's not, the video quality isn't going to be horrible, but I mean, if you go all the way down to a crazy number like 10 megabytes, yeah, it's going to look bad, but I don't even think it lets you. The lowest number it'll let me is like 60 megabytes for this video. So it does have a limit. It has a cap. So you want to be somewhere like here, right at like 10% of what it is, of how much you're allowed to have. Um, so then when you're done with that, right, you can go to audio, and you want it. The default is usually this number, but if it isn't, you can just double check. Um, you want 4800 hertz, quality high, bitrate 192, all this stuff. I mean, it usually comes default like this, and that's it. Then you click Q, and it will bring up a different program, and then you have it here. You have this program, Adobe Media Encoder. I don't know if CS2 has that, but if it is there, then good. Then all you have to do is just press play, and it will start rendering out like so. And then you can see it. You get a little picture, and you get usually a time frame of how long it's going to take. And you can see that even now, just with the color correction, it's going to take maybe like 30 minutes. It's not automatically right in the beginning, but you're talking 40 minutes for this. But however long the video is, it's going to at least take that long. So this video was what, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 23 minutes. So it's going to take about that long to render out at least, and usually double. It depends on your computer. So I'm going to stop because I don't need to have this. Yes. Whoops. What did I do? I always just click. Do you like to finish the project? No, I don't want to finish it. Ouch. Okay, so that's gonna be bad on your ears. All right, so let's see, what else is there? Finally, I think on yours, if it didn't have it, you just press export here if you don't have that file. And that's about it, man. I mean, that's like the basics, 101 of the thing. You can edit. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff you can learn, but I think if you should get this down first, and then after that, then you can get the other stuff. And yeah, that's about it, man. So inshallah, I hope this helps. Assalamu alaikum.